comes out every year then.
Be it resolved, the Board of Education return to regular session at 7:04 PM. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Maria first, Pete second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, tonight's devoted to the budget. So, Rob, it looks like you're ready to go.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you for those that are here, those that are going to be watching this online. This is the fourth budget workshop. Obviously, we started this back in January and have been working through it. At the January 14th meeting, among other things, the board will be adopting the budget to put forth to the voters. That will happen on May 19th. That's when we have the annual budget vote and the school board election. On May 12th, there will be a budget hearing. At that point, the budget will be set, but it does provide an opportunity for the public to come out and get information and also ask questions. So I want to get into, obviously a lot of what we've been talking about and sort of crystallize that a little bit more. When we work on this budget, we're very cognizant of the budget gap, but we're also cognizant of the fact that we are trying to provide the best opportunities for our students in the OA community. So just to go through, we've been talking a lot about the adjustments to expenditures. We've been talking about staffing. This is a people endeavor in which we undertake, and not only at Oakfield-Alabama, but every school district. And so staffing obviously is a key component of all this. We're also looking at equipment reductions, reductions in materials and supplies, and we've also removed the bus purchases that used to be in the budget, in the general fund, and we will have a separate proposition for them and be able to finance them going forward. Just again, some big ticket items that have really challenged us this year. The health insurance premiums, this is a big one. This is a $1 million increase. We had expected somewhere in the neighborhood of about a 12% increase, and we ended up with a 30% increase. So those are significant, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars difference between those two things. Our utilities are also going up, just like everybody else. That's something that is trending upwards for next year. The removal of capital expenditures from the 25-26 budget cycle, that disrupted the cycle of aid. So that's something that we're challenged to get that back. That's our capital outlay. So in the prior years, we've been budgeting somewhere in the neighborhood of about $100,000 to work on smaller projects to make sure that we're maintaining our facilities the way that they should be. That also generates aid. As a result of the contingent budget last year, we were not able to do that, and so that's something, again, we have to try to get back on track. Our debt expenditure increased as a result of the capital project, but it's very, very important to note that that was nearly offset by the increase in building aid. So there was an increase in expenditure, but there was also an increase in the building aid. So I just want to take a few minutes and go through some of the proposed reductions. And again, I just want to say that these reductions are throughout the entire district, almost at every level. Starting at the elementary school, we're proposing to reduce the number of sections where there are 3 right now to 2. There will be, as we look at the numbers, we have numbers in the teens in most of our class size areas. Some of those are going to go into the low to mid 20s. You can see at 3rd grade and 5th grade. But to reduce those to 2 sections, again, with some of the retirements and some movement, we were able to do that. We're also able to continue with the the sections or departmentalization of 4th and 5th grade so that they have math and ELA. So we will be able to accomplish those things, but we are talking about having to reduce sections at every grade level to 2 next year at the elementary school. In addition, there's a retirement of a special education teacher, and we'll be able to, with existing staff, absorb those duties. At the high school, again, we have a number of retirements. We have some people not returning, and so we're looking wherever we can to absorb positions. At our social studies position, we're looking to do that. We know that that may impact some electives, and again, I'm working with Mr. Peterson to determine what those are going to be. We have a pretty good idea. We have a science retirement, and we're going to be able to offer our physics regents, but very likely not our AP physics. And again, that has to do with the low numbers for that class. So the FACS, our FACS teacher is also retiring. There are some sections that we're going to have to bring back as a result of just some mandates that we have to meet. And so we're looking to bring back a halftime teacher there. In the ag program, we're looking to reduce from 2 to 1.5 roughly. And again, there may be some electives lost, but we will be able to meet the mandate relative to, say, the FFA program. We're also looking possibly to share a position. So we're still in discussions about that. And then we have a teaching assistant who's also retiring, and we'll be able to absorb that with existing staff. With our school-related professionals, our support staff, again, this is, throughout, there is a cleaner position that we will not fill. We are reconfiguring the leadership position and the maintenance mechanic positions. So our director of facilities is retiring. We're going to fill that position and backfill one of the maintenance mechanic positions. Again, just to, and reduce one of the maintenance mechanic positions. So there's 2 reductions in the buildings and grounds. We have a clerical position that is retiring in the end of December, and we will absorb that position at that time. And then there'll also be we will condense some of our bus runs, and also eliminate the 4:30 run. That run is not heavily used, so we're going to find some efficiencies in there as well. And then we also, due to retirement, we have the elimination of our Director of Curriculum Instruction and Assessment position. And then we're looking at our equipment. So, earlier in some meetings, we kind of put a wish list out there. We've cut that wish list down to about $81,000. You can see the things on the left. Those are some things that we are proposing to keep. We may refine that a little bit more, but this is, we started out with over $300,000 and went down to $80,000 worth of equipment. The big notes there are the fuel management system for the transportation department and a mower to help with the new landscape because of the sloping, the new capital project. And additional, adjustments. Again, we're going to finance the buses. We're doing less. We had no equipment in our budget this year. We had a proposal of over $300,000. Obviously, we're down to about $80,000 with that. We've reduced materials and supplies, and our budget flexibility is something that that's getting tighter for sure. We're still managing potential increases to our special education program through BOCES, However, Ms. Gellert's doing a really nice job of talking to neighboring districts and seeing if there's some partnerships that may work there to minimize those increases. And again, as I mentioned before, we're seeing increases in projections for the cost of electricity and gas. So if we look at our proposed expenditures, if we look at the 25-26 adopted budget compared to what we're proposing, that's a $2.3 million increase budget to budget. That's a little bit misleading because our adopted budget for last year, obviously there were some significant aspects that were not included because of the contingency. But we're talking about, we started out with a $2.3 million budget change. In terms of the revenue adjustments, we're assuming as we go out with this, so we've talked a lot about our expenditures. Now we're talking about the revenue side. This budget is contingent, if you will, on the fact that we will be successful with a 4% levy increase, more use of fund balance and reserves, and I'll show those to you in just a second. So if you look at our revenues, we're talking about, we got more state aid, and again, some of that was an offset as a result of the capital project. A 4% levy increase, and you can see that we plan to use $625,000 in appropriated fund balance, which is no change, but our use of reserves. So those are the numbers, I'm sorry, that is a change. Those are the numbers that are going to help fill and balance our budget on the revenue side. On the left-hand side, you see, again, just a summary of our revenues, and on the right-hand side, you see a summary of our expenditures. You can see that if you go back to our expenditures, you can see that there's been reductions in salaries, both in the instructional and non-instructional, over $500,000. But this number right here, the benefits, most of it having to do with health insurance, is really being the challenge. So going back to this last slide, how are we going to balance this? Those are the numbers on state aid, tax levy, the pilots, all the aid categories, as well as our fund balance and use of reserves. And on the right-hand side are our proposed expenditures. So just some very, very important dates coming up as I started out. April 14th. We will, the board will vote to adopt the budget, and again, there's still, we still have a couple of weeks, but this is, we're starting to crystallize where we're going to be. May 12th is the budget hearing. That will be the budget that has been adopted on April 14th, and then obviously we have the vote on May 19th. There'll be, we're projecting 3 items for voting. One is the budget. The other are board candidates, and the third is a proposition to fund our buses. And then if anybody has any questions or comments, there is an email address, budget@oahornets.org. They can send any of their questions to that email. And at this time, we'll take any questions, comments that may be out there.
Have you heard anything on the electric buses? I know Hope pushed back the green plan or whatever, but I read an article over the weekend that she's still pushing to stick to the electric bus mandate.
Yeah, I think it's something that while has caused a lot of consternation and maybe sort of an aspiration, I do think that we are a ways off. And quite honestly, some of the positions that people are in right now may be political and not necessarily something that is doable in the short term. So I think that there's going to be, while it won't go away, I think there'll be pathways to move it back further and further.
And then the other question I had, so the use of reserves, right now, we're actually projecting that we're gonna use more reserves next year than we're using this year. Is that correct?
Right, we didn't use any appropriated fund balance last year, so we didn't know how much there was. Yeah, and last year, the current year, it actually is the contingent budget, since so much was removed from the budget, that's an artificially, if you wanna call it low number, 24 million, it was a lower budget than the previous year.
Right.
So to get back up to where we need to be, yeah, we do need to pull more in from reserves.
So I think it's important for people to realize that you can see how much work has gone into this budget of really searching every corner and turning every rock to see where we could build efficiencies. And we're still having to use that, which is pretty concerning to me, of, you know, as much work has gone into this and as many rocks that were flipped over to look under, that it's still a large hurdle for this district going forward, because of that, because, you know, who's not to say that health insurance doesn't go 30% away next year?
Right.
Or, you know, what comes down the road, so I think that's still a big concern for us.
I think it also shows how much we care about our staff and our faculty, that we need to use those amount of funds
Yeah.
to protect our staff, to give our students the best education possible, versus having to let people go, whereas we're not, which is great.
Because these reserves are only so sustainable, right? If we keep accessing these reserves, we're not going to have any. And then we will get to the point where there will be, ultimately, there'll have to be layoffs, because it's just not.
So if you go to a contingent budget, then you can't replenish those reserves. We're just, keep stealing from the state.
Well, contingent budget, we would still have to cut another,
Oh, true.
228, I think.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, so one of the things at the April 14th budget, we're gonna lay out in detail what, what the numbers for the contingent budget would be and what the items would be as well.
$227,000.
Yeah,
So we would have to either absorb or keep them.
well, it's not uncommon for, school districts to, project that they're going to use a certain amount of fund balance and reserves. And likewise, as the year goes on, there's a concentration of, hey, let's slow down spending, let's prioritize things. Not that they haven't been prioritized throughout the year, but there's, every place I've been, you say, okay, the books are closed, right? Because you're trying to see how much savings you can get out of this. So that maybe you said we're gonna use, this amount of money for fund balance and reserves, and then maybe because you were efficient in your budget, you're able to refund it. We're in a situation, particularly this year, that we are not able to refund what we said we were going to use in reserves or fund balance. So, that we are actually using our savings account, right, if you will, because that's an easy way to think about fund balance and reserves. They're your savings account. We are actually using it, so sometimes you try to say you're gonna use it, but maybe you're able to fund it or refund it, or maybe come very close, but we are actually, it is actually going down. So to your point, it's a good one. It's an excellent point, and something that's gonna need to continue to have scrutiny going forward.
Yeah, it's definitely a temporary solution, right? So I think the other thing, just question mark that I had, that I just thought of as we were looking at this, is also just from an economic perspective, when we're budgeting, are we considering like the inflation increases that we've been seeing from costs of things like gas, electric?
That's where the projections are coming
Okay.
from. We just got a new set of projections today for gas and utilities. So literally today, this was updated for
again,
those projections.
right.
Yes.
'Cause that's
trending
ugly.
upward.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not pretty.
So while we've been cutting things, that's why we had the slide with the increases as well, because, as we're making adjustments here, we're forced to make adjustments here too.
Yeah.
the slide that has the, items that we are budgeting for and then the ones that we are not budgeting for? I think it's just important for people to see those, no, one more, you were on it before.
It's the equipment.
The
Yeah,
equipment,
with the
okay,
equipment.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just nice to see that these are the things that we've considered, and, what we're not gonna budget for, and what we would potentially budget for, but those things are gonna have to be on the hold again.
yes, and we did, was it for our capital outlay 50?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
we reduced the capital outlay as well.
So we do have it in there, but not at the level that we would like, but again, you start to build some things back,
Well, we
so.
lost it
Yeah.
We
is that
lost
still
it.
We
the
lost it, it was zero,
completely, and we
zero
had
this
it
year.
built just as much as we had it for the buses, because, but once it's voted down, we lose what we had for the buses, we
Right.
lost what we had for the.
Find a way to refund that.
Right, so
Yeah,
this
no,
year
this
we
is a
have
gradual
that.
refund, because man, the idea behind that outlay is we spend $1,000 up front, right? We have a year's time to do whatever it is that we said that we'd like to have done, signage, bleachers, whatever it is that we've done. And then, as long as it's been done, we get whatever, 92 point,
It's,
whatever.
yeah, I'd have to.
It's,
look
it's,
into that.
and in essence, we've only paid $8,000 or $10,000 for it, and then we can just continue
Right.
to roll that back, and it's gone, and
Right,
we've really benefited from it for
no,
the
that's,
last 7 years.
that's a great point, that a $100,000 project
It's-
literally costs us $8,000, but we lost that.
We
So
lost
we have to try to get that back.
Right, and I'd love to at some point, I don't know exactly what they all are, but in the last 6, 7 years, we've had 6 or 7 projects, and I'd love for people to really understand how has that changed our district? And they're small projects, but they add to our accessibility to our district. I mean, if it's just simple signage, you pull up to Oakfield, you wouldn't know where the heck the elementary school is, let alone, where the athletic fields are, and that's much more clear,
And there's gonna be more to come.
right?
And just reflecting on the past weekend in the auditorium, you look to the right, there's a huge crack that goes down the wall. Eventually that will have to be fixed. If you look in the gym, we have holes in our bleachers, on the seats. Eventually that has to be fixed.
Right, or locker rooms that need, some updating that have not been touched since '97. That cross-country locker room, I was stopped in there last night to use the facilities, and it's not great, right? And these are all things that,
Eventually we'll.
right,
The last 2 projects were the elementary STEM lab we were able to do in 24, 25, and in 23, 24, there was an air handler, high school science, ceiling tiles and carpet that was replaced, so yeah,
It's
smaller
basically free
things, but they're
maintenance.
definitely.
it is free maintenance.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to at my house be able to spend $1,000 and get $900 back. Like, I would love to do that, just isn't reality for 20 Weber Avenue.
And that's another thing, that's another thing that goes, if we have to do a
People can
contingency
find
budget
ways.
again, that goes away. You don't even get that 50,000, so, cause we couldn't even do that work if we wanted to in a contingency, correct?
Correct.
Right.
Along with all the equipment too, and I mean, this is like 2 years now, where we really haven't refunded that equipment side to what it probably should be, right? And then for the bus proposal, how many buses are we actually looking at?
Two
Offhand,
small buses
right?
and 1 large.
3 total, 2
Yeah.
small and 1 large, yeah.
Can you explain the fuel management system on that request? Just because I know the direction is the electric, but could you just explain what that fuel management system is?
It's other vehicles obviously use that fuel as well, and I think we sell it to.
We do, so.
It helps track how much,
I know people will see it on there and they're like, well, fuel management, but you're going to electric in 2027, so like, explain.
And there's no conceivable way that we're gonna be
Right.
able to do that in anywhere, along
No,
any
no
other
way.
school district.
no, but even if we did, which we are not, like, I can't stress that long, but there would still be fuel, there would still be gasoline, and you would still wanna track.
So our system's pretty old, and we do
It's
need
not
that.
supported anymore so yeah, it definitely needs an upgrade. So, this comes into auditing too, when there's supposed to be mileage recorded every time somebody gets gas. There's a lot that goes into keeping track of who got what gas and how to, account for it. So, without the system being supported, it's gonna be difficult to do that.
So in a contingency, we would not be able to do that system upgrade again, correct?
Correct.
that's still only going to be new purchases.
Mhm.
So we could run the buses that we have for the next 20
Right,
years
right.
if we can
If
keep them
we keep
running.
'em running.
It just would be when you purchase a new bus that you would have to get one of these buses.
And we would still have maintenance trucks that would use fuel as well, so, all of the vehicles aren't going to be electric.
Anything else?
Can you just speak a little bit to the project going on and how that affects the budget? I think a lot of people have questions in the community, regarding
The capital
the
project?
stamp, what's happening out,
Sure,
just
so.
because I think people aren't understanding that we're not getting that money to offset this budget, like that really, they don't have anything to do with one another.
Correct, so, so there, we do receive some pilot money from some of the special projects that are out there. And we know that, and we know that there's conversations about, you know, the stream data center. But that money is not part of next year's budget, or pilot, right? So that's something that's gonna be down the road a little bit further. And I know we had a slide, and we can make sure we include it next, like we kinda showed when it
We
is.
can pull it
but
up if it's.
They
is it
are
a
paying
state?
plug powers.
They are, yes, where is it?
But that money's
They
already
said
been
they
accounted
could.
for.
I'm just.
Right, no,
just
no,
to
I understand
clarify.
what you're saying.
Well, they said they would
Notables?
pay it.
Yep.
They don't have to pay it.
Right.
Oh, they're still not,
It's
Well,
not
until
a-
the check comes in, it's
It's
not
not a-
necessarily in the bank.
That's the thing with any of those pilots that are out there right now, like none of that stuff is guaranteed, so there's nothing from Stream that is a definite it's gonna happen. Even them paying the plug power, that's not a, they don't have to do that, like, they're doing that out of good faith right now. So they could say, you know what, all these people are coming out against us, we're not gonna pay that anymore because we're not coming here. And we're on the hook for $300,000 and some odd thousand dollars. So that's what people really have to understand is like, that none of that's guaranteed, nor does it have to happen.
and that is currently in our budget.
We are projecting, so for the 26-27 year, we have a Bright Oak Solar pilot, Edwards Vacuum, Empire Pipeline, and then the Plug Power, we are receiving it this year from Plug Power, and we've been told that we will receive it next year from Stream, but that's just taking over Plug Power, that's not the new, funding that will be generated from the Stream data center. And again, we're right here and we put pending, because we don't know exactly what those numbers are
But
gonna
at
be.
least that 308 number is currently in our revenue,
308, 368, but again, that's,
but
like
in
you
our
said,
current budget.
it's our current, in our, yes, in our current revenue,
So
thank
if
you.
they take it away, then we're further in the hole,
Right?
Yes,
Yes.
just putting that out.
yeah,
And has
Great
Bright
point.
Oaks actually paid this year? Cause I know some of the other solar farms were not paying their pilots.
All of our pilots have been
They have been
received,
paid,
yes.
okay.
anything else?
I think the breakdown is just important, and that doesn't have to be
Yeah.
tonight, but I think a lot of people, you know, look at their bills, excuse me, monthly. They wanna see a monthly breakdown of what that 4% is going to look like, and I know we have slides that show the breakdown per $100,000 assessed value of your home. I think seeing the
Suck it
monthly
from the
amount
Okay,
is helpful.
With the triangle, yep.
Mhm.
yeah, and we can make sure that that's included, for the 14th, but this is what you're talking about here.
Right.
And just to try to break it down, yeah, this is,
Though again, that tax rate triangle, there are three sides to that. Right now, we're only projecting the tax levy. We don't have the equalization rates and we don't have the new assessed values. So, that number's just an estimate.
yeah, it's an important disclaimer, cause, yeah.
Right.
you
Sure.
only
We only have
control
one
how
of
many.
three variables.
Yeah,
Sure, so based
So,
on the
do
information
the
we
math
have
on
right
that.
now, we're looking at about $17 per month per $100,000 assessed value,
Yes.
is that right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Do they come out with that all the time, equalization rate out around the same time every year? Like, I feel like that's always said in every, you know, we don't have this, we only
Right,
have one factor,
yes.
you know, is it just always the same every year time frame?
It's April.
Right.
Like,
It's
Yeah.
after,
I feel like it's after.
it's
It
after,
was like the week before.
Yeah, you're right, something like
Yeah.
that.
it's after you adopt the budget, for sure.
There's so much
Yeah,
New
it's
York,
helpful, yeah.
so helpful.
Yeah, and again, just, you know, we're trying to balance everything here, and so the levy limit is 6.21. We're trying to find a number that we feel that our community can also understand and accept as well. So.
And I don't think these conversations are unique to Oakfield either. I think it's important to recognize that these conversations are being had at every district in this area right now. Just having conversations with other board members and, you know, hearing what they're also going through, that this is not unique to us. It is unique in the sense that we're coming off of a contingency and
Right.
our bills didn't just stop. We still had to keep paying them even though we were on a contingency budget, and it did in Pete's terms kick the can down the road a little bit for us, but these are very common conversations, happening all over the world region.
Yeah, yes. Unfortunately, yes.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Anything else?
I think so, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Rob.
I know how much my house is, and I'm not happy about it, but it's gotta be done. It's gotta be done.
Well, and as a note, as assessed values increase, that tax rate decreases, cause the pie stays the same size, you're just cutting it into more pieces when you increase the assessed value, so that's why the tax rates decrease year to year.
That's our meeting tonight. I'd like to forego the closing remarks. I think this is a budget meeting. We can save the closing remarks for our regular meeting. So, can I get a can it be approved that, we end the meeting at
So
7:35?
moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Second, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Hold it. I'm happy you guys got here. You function 12 hours a day, gotta be closed. Right?
Thanks for coming, Jeff. We should
Thanks
have
for
a
the
party
information.
favor for
It's
you or
interesting.
something.
It's interesting.
You didn't have any burning questions?
You've had some of those for hockey, it's a very different ball game,
It's-
but you have like different. I don't know about basketball, but on hockey, they have like a universal system, so it's like trying to really to then you just read it, so it's like, oh,
Yeah, well, I think there is something to be said about that, like,
No, but I felt like it was
I mean,
festive.
the last year was completely what, just concept that the kids aren't used to seeing. It's really hard, and she does a great job prepping them.
No, so she is like.
You know, yeah, I'm not really sure what my responsibility is for this event, like, we're sitting on 8 houses in there, you know,
There's another one.
It's a lot of concepts.
but it's great, it is great.
I like the handshakes.
I don't believe I was exposed to anything like that.
Sounds like you've been talking.
It's cool, I know, yeah, I'm back in really.
Tori's dog sitting for 7 years.
You don't write it, like, I mean, it's just, but it's like, it's just, and it's even more like,
Running up South Girl,
it's
because Tori did not do her job.
I actually just saw that little friendship.
Well, he's got a cone on his head, it's like, it's got.
That helps me
it's
out.
interesting that she cares,
Yeah,
like, I'm not
we
older.
found
Oh, sorry,
But she doesn't show me much, but, you know,
Or just make sure I come.
it's like, Laura, and
Today I-
she had like, two
But she's
solid
not
kids.
open to it.
Well, no, she did, she's younger.
He just planted a bunch of gardens, and, I showed him, I sent a picture of the outside
Right.
rivers, and he's like, hey, will you make sure the water's right? And I said, yeah, I'll go up there and turn the sprinkler system on.
So many kids play spring, which is
So we fenced in the 70 by 100.
Is he? I was gonna ask.
Yeah, but he's gonna do some camps and stuff.
Where does he go for that?
That's not bad.
The TV has it now,
We
the.
did 300 pounds of
That's usually-
There's guidance counselor, it does.
Four
Yeah, no,
children's
he,
plants.
is
I can't
coaching,
even tell you how
and
many
he started a
libraries,
youth league for
raspberries he
That's
got.
really cool.
which is cool.
Yeah, he worked out there all weekend, my grandchildren,
So they sometimes have a rough week, but it's
but
not.
he got a lot started, plus he had to bring in a lot of
Yeah, they have their own
specials because
replay
our
on the
ground is
side.
so.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Camden doesn't in the spring.
that's such a neat experience for everyone, I imagine.
I
And you
love
have
it
to put something
personal,
in the
not
ground
because
too,
it's
it's
so,
like
like,
self-death.
and their
They
whole
are.
like traditions are so nice.
It's amazing.
Every year,
that
it
were
looks kind of so community driven and the
With
ground is just really big.
I think the cultural aspect is super cool.
Yeah,
You
it is,
can't
it's
grow
super cool.
things
We like
that
it,
have
that one's fun.
Self-death.
Some of them are too good. Alright, budget, ready to plunge.
So, it gets destroyed.
Okay.
Alright, I'd like to get this meeting started, if we could please rise and say the allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, welcome to tonight's Board of Education meeting. Board meetings are generally held on the third Tuesday of the month. The Board of Education is a body of school district residents elected by the community and charged with conducting school-related business. The meetings are conducted under the open meeting law, but are not open forums for the community. With that being said, visitors to these meetings are to conduct themselves properly and with respect to any other individuals at the meeting. The Board of Education reserves the right to remove any individual for improper display of behavior and inappropriate language. Excuse me. The Board of Education will have a period of time to vote the visitor request following any board presentations and the approval of minutes shortly after the opening of the meeting. Individuals wishing to address the board will be permitted to speak up to 3 minutes. For a total of 30 minutes may be allowed for public comment. With that being said, we're gonna move into roll call. Faye, if you don't mind, checking us in, please.
Starting off with Mr. Zeliff,
Here?
Mrs. Emerson,
Here.
Mrs. Jackie Anker Davis,
Present.
Mrs. Benjamin,
Here.
Mr. Stabell,
Here.
Mrs. Thompson,
Here.
Mr. Wheeler.
Present.
Okay, gonna go right into executive session. Be it resolved, the Board of Education enters the executive session in regards to personnel at 6:32. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Thanks.
Second.
Thank you, Kevin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any discussion? Opposed? Motion passes. Sorry, that was rusty.
Confusing.
Yep, I
When it
confused by
happens
myself.
first,
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So then we're coming down here.
Yes.
Back here, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you need anything?
I don't think
Computer?
so.
All right, thank you. Okay, great.